good question. You said Taoist in origin. Coincidentally, these two festivals collide. Now, we have the three festivals. We say the upper, middle, and the lower full moon festivals. Oh, okay. So the first one is the first full moon festival that occurs on the first full moon of the new lunar year. So that will be the first full moon on the Chinese New Year. And the second one will be known as the second full moon of the 7th month. So actually the Chinese, our months just go by the first month, second month, third month, so there are 12 months. On some years there are 13 months because of a leap year. And the last one will be the full moon, we call 下元节, so they say upper, lower, and upper, middle, and the lower one. The third one will be the one after winter solstice. Okay, so which would collide? We call the heavenly. The first one being known as the heavenly minister, and then the water minister, and the earth minister. Okay, 天官, 地官, 水官. So they call this the three ministers. So what is the difference between Taoism and Buddhism? Is that Taoist gods serve the world more like civil servants. Each god does a particular job, while Buddhists, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas don't have particular jobs to do. They are renunciates, and they are there to. We are here to help to resolve the problems faced by the beings in this world. And so, Buddha said that to practice this Ulaanbaatar festival, which is the full moon day of the 7th month. Now, according to the Chinese calendar, according to our Chinese months, then the 3 months, there will be 4 months. From the first month will be spring, and then the 4th month will be summer, right? 3 months of spring and 1 month of summer, and after that would be 3 months of, we call that the rains retreat, because it will start to rain. And so what Buddha meant was, during the 3 months of heavy rain, so the monks do not go out to beg for food. Monks or Sangha, we do not go out to beg for food, and therefore we stay indoors. So in Thailand there will be this practice where people would bring food and people would offer big candles to the temples, because the monks don't go out, and so they would not have the necessities of livelihood. And so that would be celebrated. So during these 3 months, we say the Sangha or the practitioners, they would meditate a lot. They would meditate, and when the Buddha was alive, after 3 months or 90 days of meditation, they would come out from the retreat and report to the Buddha what they have realized or what they have learned during these 90 days of meditation. And so this Ulaanbaatar festival, or this great offering, would be offered at the conclusion or completion of this rain retreat, which would then be the 15th day of the 7th month. Okay? So these two Buddhist and Taoist festivals fall on the same day, fall on the exact same day. So therefore, it is a festival that is celebrated by both the Buddhist and the Taoist. Okay, so we say the Ulaanbaatar festival is a Buddhist festival, whereas the 3 moon festivals are Taoist festivals. So, but because when you say Chinese, what is a Chinese? You cannot say a Chinese is a Confucianist, you cannot say a Chinese is this or that. You only can say, the best way to say, a real Chinese has all the components of Buddhist thinking, Taoist belief, and Confucianist education. Okay? So that's what we say, 三元合一, 三教合一. So the combination of the 3 religions, or the 3 spiritual paths. So you will see the Buddhist thinking of liberation and wanting to be free, to be kind, to be compassionate. The Taoist thinking, then will be the Taoist thinking of being natural, understanding how nature works, understanding the nature of people, and the Confucianist method of education, of control, of planning. Okay, so you will see that till now, how China is being run is very Confucianist. That was how Confucius taught. What is the correct way, what is the beneficial way to rule the country. And so, if we go deeper, you go deeper into Chinese history, you will realize that in the past, the Taoists and the Confucianists, they were enemies. They always waged war against each other. So it was only till the influx of Buddhism that balanced everything up. So in China, you will actually sort of see this picture that there is Buddha sitting there, and Confucius and Lao Tzu playing chess. So that is the meaning. Buddha is looking at Confucius and Lao Tzu playing chess. So now there was war. So chess is actually war, you know. Okay, and Buddha is there to harmonize everything. So that is really what Chinese is all about. So Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism. You cannot say, you cannot take out. Okay, and so if you ask or maybe a new Chinese, we call them new Chinese from mainland China. Okay, we are very different from them. We look the same, we eat the same food, speak the same language, but the thinking is totally different. Okay, so actually, many old Chinese don't like the new Chinese. We don't like them because they don't respect their elders. The roots are gone. No more filial piety. No more respect for the elders. So that is the real root of Chinese culture. All these things that you see boils down to filial piety and respect. So that's it. But in modern China, there's no more filial piety. Okay? And no more respect for elders. No more respect for tradition. So that's why the people are saying China is breaking down. So now it is changing. China is promoting Confucianism and Buddhism. Okay, so they know that is the proper way to make real changes in the people's hearts and the people's minds. And so if you say, what is this all about? You can't say this is Taoist, you can't say this Buddhist, you can only say this is Chinese. Means there's Buddhism, there's Confucianism and Taoism. Because as you can see, the Taoist priest, he was bowing down, he was taking this piece of wood. Okay, so what does that mean? And that actually means the Taoist priest, he's like the civil servant. I represent the humans over here. I'm wearing the uniform of the gods. Okay, and I'm praying for this being so and so, or we are all this group of people with their names of this society, of this year, this month, this day, this time. We are praying reporting to this God, this particular God here. Okay, that is the main main god or the main deity being enshrined in this temple or in this village. So in the past, different villages or different towns specialized in different gods. Maybe historically he used to live there. And how did they become gods? Actually, most of them were heroic humans when they were alive. And while after they died, like I said, because of filial piety, because of respect, and so people, they became immortal because of their spirit. Because of people respected their spirit, people respected their mind, respected the way they lived, respected the way they help others, and so therefore people continue to make their wishes to them. And somehow it worked. And so these spirits of the dead people somehow became gods. We Chinese say xian, chen xian. Okay, the word xian means, the way to write it is a human being living in the mountains, or a hermit in the mountains. Okay, or which actually has another meaning. Say this human being has his heart high up in the mountains. So he's not a normal human. Normal human live in the plains. Extraordinary human lives in the mountains. He has a high heart, a cool heart, and a gentle heart. Alright? So any other questions? Yes.
Other people might know this, but I don't. So I have a twofold question. First of all, when is the 7th month this year? Because I guess it changes from year to year. And how do you suggest that somebody in the West practice this, that practical way that maybe doesn't have access to the offering supplies and everything that is available in Singapore, if they wanted to feed the hungry ghosts?
Then maybe you can ask her that. Anyway, for this year, the Hungry Ghost Festival is already over. It's already over. But if you are interested, you can actually go on the internet. I'm sure you go ask Dr. G, Chinese Hungry Ghost Festival. Okay, in this year, next year, 2015, it will be there. It will definitely be there. And how would you make offerings? Actually, you can set a table or a low table, and you make you put food. You place food, and then after that you light some incense. If you have no incense, light a cigarette. Light a cigarette. Main thing is the smoke. Okay, the smoke, and then I'm sure you can get incense. There are many Chinese Asian stores, and then you just, after you light it up, you can light some candles. And then you call out to them, say, now is the Hungry Ghost Festival, we so and so of this name would like to do charity and offer you charity and the practice of generosity, and would like to offer you this food. May you be free from your sufferings, and please enjoy and be happy. May you be free from your time capsule of the past sufferings that make you continue to want to stay as a ghost. So many people actually become ghosts. How do you know? How do I know? When we look at each other, do some people still continue to live in the past? In the past, this person said this to me, so and so said this to me, I'll remember, I'll hate you forever, this and that. So when they die, it carries on. The body dies, but the spirit lives on and becomes a malevolent spirit. Okay? So the best thing is by education. Educate human beings to be free from their own past. Aren't you tired? Let go. Let go of your own hate. Let go of allowing yourself to be hated by people. Let go of hating others. Let go of the fear. Let go of the insecurity. Communicate. Reach out. That's very important. Don't do something freakish, okay, and stuff like that. Yeah, and you make the offerings. You make the offerings. If you want to burn something, I'm sure you can go to the Asian stores and you say this. Want to buy the offerings that are for the spirits. Okay, and then basically you look through the things. You will see money, you will see gold, you will see silver, and you have to say, oh, I'm offering gold, I'm offering silver. You must say. When you say, I'm offering clothes, Bebe was telling me she went to an Asian store and then she thought it was a wrapping paper and it was very pretty, and they opened it up. She brought it home, opened it up, and there were clothes, there were pants, and so it was pretty funny for me. Okay, yeah, we make them out of paper, and that is a real historic. This is a real historical truth. Why Chinese burn these things? All right. So you want to know?
Yes.
Okay. Suppose you are my mother. Suppose you are my mother, and I have, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids. 7 kids. When you die, one son and one daughter will have to be buried alive with you. Because of filial piety, they are also willing to kill themselves, okay, in your tomb, in your grave. So they will kill themselves and spill blood and to serve you, to look after you, to make sure you will have a good afterlife. In your tomb will be buried real gold and real silver, clothes, jars of wine, food, rice grains, lotus seeds, clothes and brocade and cotton and furniture, and the things that you use when you're alive, the things that you like when you're alive. And you will be placed in, I think you call sarcophagus, big stone coffins and stuff like that, or underground, things that were underground. And we will seal it. Who stopped this? Now this is interesting. Who stopped this practice? Before I want to go, who stopped this practice? So this would be a very expensive thing, isn't it? Okay? And let's say this son and this daughter dies. Who will look after their family? The other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will look after their family. Okay? And who will pay for your tomb? The rest and their children and their family. You have to work their ass off their whole life to pay for everything to be buried together with you. Okay? Until they die, or until they fully pay up the debt, and when they die, you know, so the idea is that since you had such a hard life, you want to have a good next life. You want to be enjoying, not working anymore. And therefore, the Chinese always have this painting called 百子千孙, means 100 children and 1,000 grandchildren. Okay, so the more children you have, the better your next life will be. The more children you have, the less labor you have to do in this life. Because children and family will help to tend the fields, look after the animals, you know, weave cloth, cook, and everything, you see. And if you look at our lives today, we pretty much are living a meaningless life, because right now, human beings or the ladies at home don't know how to sew, don't know how to weave cloth, don't know how to make thread from cotton, don't know how to make silk. You see, so in the past, so why we Chinese like to live together? Because some would make cloth, some would make clothes, some would preserve food, some would cook, some would look after the children, some have to tend the fields, and some would, you know. So basically, it is community living. So the more, the merrier. And it would also mean when you die, you have a spirit tablet and you have a lot of food. You have a lot of food. People would remember you and they will make offerings and call out your name, just like you call out Jesus Christ. You know, people go to church and call out to God. And we Chinese don't have this idea that the ancestors will go away. We want to keep our family together. So within our house, there are actually ancestral tablets with their names and their birthday. okay, their birthday and their anniversary. And on the anniversary of their death, we actually set up offerings and we call out to them and say, we remember you. And we got grandma or great-grandmother. Like for me, my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, we call out to them. Okay, until 5 generations. Okay, 5 generations. We pray and call out to them for 5 generations. Beyond 5 generations, enough. Okay, so within the ancestral tablet or ancestral lineage, we basically only want to remember or pray 5 generations. Beyond 5 generations, we can keep their names for memory's sake, and we will know. There will be a book that will say who, your ancestors, the family tree. So it's a very, very big family tree. Like, unfortunately, my own family's family tree, the book got destroyed in the Cultural Revolution. That my ancestral temple and the ancestral temple, ancestral tablets were all destroyed and stepped down by Mao Zedong soldiers. Okay, but my wife's family, her ancestral temple and ancestral tablet and the book from Yuan dynasty is still in existence till now. So that is really how many 100 years. Okay, and so we can actually trace back who is your grandfather, who is your great-grandfather, who is your great-great-grandfather, how many brothers and sisters did he have, and where did they move to, where did they stay, what did he work as. Okay, that is actually known as the ancestral book, and it's recorded. It is recorded. And so, unfortunately for me, so my ancestral book is only up to the level of my great-grandfather. We started back from there. And who stopped this? So who stopped this practice of human sacrifice? This is very interesting. It was Confucius. Confucius advised the king to stop this practice of killing. So if you have more children will die together with the father or the mother. And it was not until Buddhism come into China that we say, okay, since this is the practice of Chinese, we will make all these offerings out of paper. You can have children or you can have people to serve the day, so then we make them out of bamboo. Why bamboo? Now this is something very interesting. This is 中国来的吧？你知道这些历史吗？ I asked if he was from China, and you know the history of these things. He said he doesn't know. And so, why bamboo? Because bamboo has a few meanings. To grow bamboo, it can take up to 6 years when you grow. 6 years for its roots to grow deep into the ground. No shoots will come out. It can just be like you thought it's dead. What will happen is that the roots will grow very deep and very fast. And it is like storing its energy. But when the time is right, in 6 days, it can grow up to 30 feet. 6 days, 30 feet. When the first shoot breaks out in 6 days, it's 30 feet. What does it mean? Roots run deep. Okay, roots should run deep. Number 2, and when roots can run deep and there is a common goal and we can all work together and put our resources together, when you want to do something, you do it with a bang. That's why when Chinese have some celebration together, they always have some very noisy line dance. It always starts with a big bang. Okay? And with the bamboo, why bamboo? Because it grows so fast, okay? And within bamboo it's hollow, isn't it? So it has got a yin qi. Tai chi, the qi. Okay, so this bamboo has the air that comes from the underworld. So actually, they use the term, they say hell. Actually, in Chinese, there's hell is a place for punishment. The other one is actually like what I said, maybe you call purgatory or the spirit world. Okay, where they're like you and they're like you. They're sitting amongst you and they're here and they're everywhere. Okay, and it's okay. We live we share this environment together with them. And so using bamboo, which has got inchi, and then using paper to make figurines. After that, they are blessed, okay, and they are burned. So we continue the Chinese culture, but with a Buddhist influence. So who started the burning of all this gold and silver and this and that, and not using real gold, not using real silver? The monks, the Buddhist monks. Buddhism came in. Confucianism stopped it. Taoism propagated it. Taoism propagated it. Okay, so as you can see, these three work harmoniously with each other. How the culture is going to be in future, nobody knows. Okay, but right now, the culture in China is really bad. Everybody just want to pray for money. Money is the aim, money is the goal. There is no spirituality, and therefore, many people are feeling very stressed, and at the end of the day, they just want to kill themselves. Okay, there's a lot of suicide, there's a lot of unhappiness in China right now, so that's unfortunate. Okay? Maybe it's the same in America too. Think about it. Think about it. Okay, so this is how the thing come about, right? Any other questions?
So you said that they remember up to 5 generations, and so every year you remember your ancestors. So they don't believe in reincarnation because
according to the Chinese rituals, the Taoist rituals and the Buddhist rituals are vastly different. The Chinese rituals, when somebody dies, we don't pray for them to go to have a good rebirth. No, they actually want them to become us. Want them to tell them, say, oh, now your physical body is gone. You come stay inside this tablet. Stay inside here and look after, continue to look after your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. Okay, please bring good conditions and everything. So in the Taoist ritual, the Taoist prayers, no, we don't send the ancestors off to some pure land or some Buddhist place. So that's why the Taoists view Buddhists like the initial Christians, like the early Christian, because the Christians are saying that the Buddhists were the first to introduce the idea that you can go to heaven, you can go to a pure land. But the Taoists, they say that, as you can see by the Taoist priest, he says that whether you are good or bad, after you die, first place you go is to go to hell. You'll be judged and this and that, because as you can see, the way the system of Taoism is, it is very civil servant. It's like a civil court, right? Where you know, it's like when humans are born, you have to go and register the birth. So it's like when somebody dies, you have to go down there to register the death. New immigrant into the spirit world, like that, and therefore you'll be rewarded or punished as accordingly to what you have done. So that is the Taoist belief and the Taoist tradition. Okay, I have no comments on that. I respect them, respect their culture, respect their religion. So we are different. Buddhists and Taoists are very different. We celebrate during the same time, but our scriptures, our teachings, our sort of like, whether you want to call it a celebration or a spiritual tradition, is vastly different. Any other questions, please? Yes.
You started it off saying that Chinese don't like denim.
Don't like denim.
don't like denim.
Chinese don't like denim. You really want to know?
Yeah.
Okay, in the Qing dynasty, Chinese people wore the color, the blue that the denim is. If you look at old Chinese pictures and old Chinese maybe paintings, the Chinese people will be wearing something like this, okay, and it's blue, always blue. And when the Chinese were sold as slaves to America, the Americans, the white people then made denim for the Chinese slaves, for the coolies, they call them. Okay? That the denim was thick enough to make them not die of cold in winter, but thin enough to make them not die of heat in summer. Okay? So if you see the denim material, the original denim material, it's actually very hard, not like now, the denim material can be very soft, but do you remember the days, maybe 30 years ago, denim was still very hard, it's a very hardy pair, you probably just have one pair, you can last you 20 years, isn't it? Right? And that was the mark of a Chinese slave. Okay? And you know the brand Lee? Yeah, many Chinese have this surname Lee. Okay, and it was some sort of like a derogatory term or derogatory thing for them at that time. Okay, so they call them the Qings. How did they make them to stop from escaping? They tied their hair up together. The Chinese during the Qing dynasty, we had to leave long hair. Okay, and then we just tie 5 together in a knot, and then so they cannot run. Okay, and to stop them from returning to China, they cut off their hair when they're in America. And so if they could redeem themselves with their salary, okay, they would have to wait until their hair grew back. And that would take at least 8 to 10 years for the hair to grow back. Because in China, if you did not have your long hair, the plait, you will be beheaded. At the time, in the rule of Qing dynasty, if you did not shave half your hair, half your head, and leave a long hair, you'll be beheaded. That was the rule. Okay, because the Manchus, why are the clothes in this way? The Mongolians, the Manchurians, the buttons are on the side because they do a lot of horse riding. Okay, and why did they shave half the hair? It also represents renunciation towards the first renounce the attachment to many things, so the half monks. Okay, and the other real practical reason was also shaving the first half of the head so that when you do horse riding, the hair don't fly to your eyes and stuff like that. So that was the other practical reason. Okay, and so the Manchus were Buddhists, and so they wore their prayer beads on the neck. So you will see that all who were civil servants, if you look at the old paintings in Qing dynasty, they'll be wearing long prayer beads. And it is the exact Buddhist prayer bead, 108 beads. Anyway, it's a long gone history. So that is about denim. So I was chatting with my friends, some Taoist priests and everything, and so they were saying that some medium and some gods came to tell the people when you come to the temple and pray, do not have your pride. Don't wear the mark of a slave to a temple to pray. They are not slaves anymore. So that's the sad history of denim for the Chinese. That's the sad history. Nowadays maybe people don't think and people don't know. But if you really look at southwestern China, Yunnan province and stuff like that, you will still see people wearing this kind of blue colored clothes. Similar, still buttoned to the side, okay, and very short, and then black pants. Okay, exactly the same. Still, people are still wearing such traditional clothes. Yeah, so that's the explanation. Any other thing? Yes?
This might be a little bit off topic, but I've heard that once you attain liberation or samadhi, that it affects like